Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here today representing the 12,000 plus students in my school district who are RIF participants. Now, there are about that many more who are on the waiting list and who want to get involved in our program. It really is very special to us, and it's very special to be here today with all of these panelists to talk about something that truly is very near and dear to my heart. As you heard referenced earlier, I've been in Richland 1 for a long time. Actually, since I've been 5 years old. So it truly is home and is a very special place for me. But my first job in Richland 1 was at the elementary level. Walked in first day, and children said, where are the RIF books? And I thought, what are you talking about? You know, I was just trying to figure out what should I do first. But great partnership at my elementary level, and then I moved on to the high school. So RIF lives in many places for many students, not just those little ones, and it's so critical, as we've heard today, to really get them started on the right road. But it lives many lives across many places. And I want to just talk with you briefly about what RIF really looks like and the true impact of what all the research that we've heard presented this morning actually means in the lives of students and their families. RIF has the power to turn a home into a place of learning. It also provides and kindles hope. It opens possibilities for our children as to what is possible for them in their lives. It's really a great opportunity for us as a school district to be a partner with something that we know makes a difference for our students. Not just for those who participate in RIF, but those on that waiting list as well, who every day say, Mrs. Thompson, is it my turn yet? But it truly is an honor to be here to talk a little bit about my experiences and my reflections about the impact of this program. Children are special people. They truly are special. They're curious about the world around them. They're eager to learn new things. They crave and they need our attention and support while trying to show us that they really are independent. But RIF has the opportunity to touch their lives in all these areas. In my 32 years of working with RIF, both, as I said, at the elementary and the high school level, I've seen how RIF really empowers students and their families. It empowers students to dream. It gives them that opportunity to try to make sense of the world around them. And it also helps them connect their learning and realize that, yeah, this does make sense, and I can do this. And yeah, isn't that great to know that, and that I can share it with someone? So from the earliest learners, those 4-year-olds who finally figure out that those black squiggly marks at the bottom of the page explain what the pictures are all about, or to that senior who is banging at the door on RIF Day who wants to be the first in his class, you notice I said, his class to have the latest edition of the Blueford series. RIF makes a difference in the lives of all of these students. And you know, as parents, we want to do the right things for our children. As educators, we want to do the right things for our children. As mentors and members of a greater community, we want to do the right thing for our children. And RIF certainly gives us an opportunity to do that by helping them have the tools and the resources they need. When we talk about the behavioral and the educational and the psychological outcomes of what RIF does, let me just share with you a few stories that I think punctuate the research and the other points we've heard this morning. We have to meet the needs of our students. And it's so empowering for a child or for anyone to know that somebody cares about them to do something important for them. Now, on the surface, you may think giving a child a book isn't a big thing, but I will tell you, it is a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful tool that we have an opportunity to share many times over every year. Children need validation, they need encouragement, and they need the right kinds of resources to help them meet the challenges of their world. The state librarian in South Carolina, David Goebel, has coined a phrase. With all of the educational challenges we have to learn our way through it. And I really respect that because that's what we have to do. We have to learn our way through the challenges that we have. And RIF gives us an opportunity to do that. First day of school. excited parents, nervous parents, out there with their flip video cameras and all their digital cameras, capturing the moment. You know, teachers who are waiting to get their children in, and the kids jump out of their cars. They don't go to the cafeteria. They don't go to the office. They head straight to the library, and they say, is it RIF Day today? That plays itself out many times over in the 27 schools in my district that are fortunate enough to have the RIF program. Or what about this story? On show and tell day, or what we call bring and brag day, the 5th grader who comes in with a framed photo and bags and bags and bags filled with all of her RIF books. That's what she wanted to brag about. The power of RIF books begins early on with our students. It gives them an opportunity to be creative, to get their families involved. And in Richland One, we take it very seriously. It is a cornerstone in our literacy efforts. Our superintendent, Dr. Percy Mack, has kind of made it pretty clear to us that literacy is our business. It is our focus. And RIF fits right into that focus, from our strategic plan to what we do in the classrooms every day. And it's really a very great opportunity for us to connect families, to bring the community in. In Richland One, we do a little thing that we call Reading Rocks. Perhaps you've heard about it. Certainly Carol has been there and has enjoyed the event with us several times. And you're all invited to this year's Reading Rocks, which is Saturday, October 9th. It's a super reading party. It gives us an opportunity to bring our community members, our parents in, other stakeholders in literacy and our student success, to really focus on the power of books and reading. I see some great partners out in the audience with us today, Scholastic being one of them. But it is a great opportunity for our students and our community to focus on what really is important, and it touches the life of every student in our district, whether they are a RIF site or not. So please come down to Columbia and enjoy our Reading Rocks with us this year. But through our RIF program, not just Reading Rocks or giving the books through our great distributions throughout the school year, but it gives families and parents and others who are interested in our students and in our school success to come in and to volunteer, to share their talents, to interact with the students, to be the special guests at a RIF distribution. Every kid stands in line. It doesn't matter if it's the PTA president or the grocer down the store. They stand in line to get their RIF book autographed by the special guest. Those opportunities help us to really strengthen our schools, and it validates for our students how important it is to be a successful student, and reading is the first block that helps us to do that. Now let me share a couple of quick stories, because I know I only have a few minutes, but these are some things I really want to share with you that I think punctuate all of the research and all of the great work that the RIF team does, and all of you here in this audience I think are here to validate today. We often have opportunities to share about RIF and its impact in our community. Let me just share a couple of quick stories with you about some things that truly are important to us and how this program has impacted our lives. I'm in the store a lot. My husband is not particularly excited about that. But you know, you're out in the community all the time, and it never fails. I could be in Walmart, I could be in the grocery, doesn't matter where I am. I run into a former student, and they say, "Hey, Miss Thompson, how are you?" And I say, "I'm great. And are these your beautiful little darlings?" And they say, "Yes." And guess what? I have all my RIF books, and I'm still reading them to my children. Boy, does that make me feel special. You know, I want to send Carol a little text message right away when I have those types of things happen. But truly, I ran into one of my former students, who was actually one of my teacher cadet students, just a couple of weeks ago in the grocery store. She's now teaching in elementary school, and she had two little gorgeous little darlings in the grocery cart. And she said, "You know, I have all my RIF books." And she was one of my high school RIF students. And so, you know, it's really very important and empowering, and it shows how RIF continues to live in the lives of our children and our communities. And then let me share this story with you. We were fortunate to have our RIF program specialist come down and spend some time with us. And of course, we wanted her to visit as many schools as possible. The parents, the RIF community committees, the children, the principals, everyone was so excited. So we had a chance to visit 3 or 4 schools. And the last school on that trip that day was John P. Thomas Elementary School. And we were talking about RIF, and the children had all these great displays and all these wonderful things they'd prepared. And then at the end, we asked if anyone had any comments. And one of the 3rd grade teachers stood up, and she said this, shared this with the group. She said, you know, as a child growing up, I had a really hard childhood. My family was not stable. We moved a lot. She said, we moved an awful lot. I never knew where I'd be living the next week or the next day. And she said, with all of that chaos and all of that turmoil, I was always fortunate to be in a school where there was RIF. And she said, I kept all of my RIF books in a special pillowcase. I get emotional every time I think about it. She said, I kept all of my RIF books in a special pillowcase because I knew when Mom said we had to move, I didn't have a whole lot of time to figure out what I was going to take with me, but I always grabbed my pillowcase full of RIF books. She went on and she shared with the children other points about her life. But by the time we finished, of course, we were all in tears. But it showed us the power, and what she was saying to her children is that with all the instability going on in my life, with all of the things that I was afraid of or didn't know what to expect next, I knew I could count on my RIF books. They were my very special friends. And so I conclude my remarks by saying to you again, we are so excited and so fortunate to be in a position as a school district that we can provide these opportunities for our students, that we can help them make sense of their world and get them on the road to being successful. And we look forward to having you at Reading Rocks. Thank you so much.